Introducing Karina from Sphere Therapeutics.
So the deep longitudinal subsystem is what we're going to work with today. And basically the deep longitudinal subsystem is one that kind of will overrule some of the others. And I have my trusty little skeleton today. So we're going to work with him. Basically, in the deep longitudinal subsystem, it's kind of forming a spring, and that spring is going to start right here in the lower leg. So it's going to be the peroneals, which go on the side, and the soleus. So that's where it's going to start. So it obviously starts from the spring action on the bottom of the feet where the plantar fascia attaches. It loads our gait. So we will be working some into the lateral outside part of the leg today. And if this is tight and where it gets stuck, it seems to lock up the tib-fib joint. And then it's going to create a problem up the line. So from here, we have the lateral hamstring, the bicep femoris. It actually does attach laterally here. So we kind of get this gummed up adhesion right in here. That's very tight, and you'll notice that when we're working through there today. So we're moving lateral, and then we're going to go medial to the ischial tuberosity or sit bone. And that's where the hamstring is attached. Specifically, we're talking about bicep femoris. And then we move up because the bicep fem attaches to the fascia of the sacrotuberous ligament. And then we're moving up through here to the lower lumbar spine. And a lot of times if an SI joint is locked up and really stuck in the back here, it has to do partly with that deep longitudinal subsystem. So from there, we have a cross across because it has to do with gait. So it crosses across, hold this little guy, crosses across to the opposite side erector because that's how gait works. So we're crossing across to the opposite side erector, coming up, and the erector is going to attach on the opposite side, right underneath the scapula onto the rib space. So that's how we're going to be working today. And we'll have a little series here with some of the main subsystems, and basically what we'll do is we'll work, in my opinion, with the most important one, which is the deep longitudinal subsystem, and then the posterior oblique subsystem, and then we're going to work on two other ones, the lateral subsystem and the anterior oblique subsystem. So those are in the coming weeks because I'm thinking, oh, what can we do in the next 4 weeks? So we're going to have a little series and work subsystems. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to take your air-filled sphere, and you're going to start on your left side. So if you're comfortable like this sitting on your knees, that's fine. If any of this bothers your knees, you can take like a pillow and stick it behind your legs. You can sit in a chair. You can just come in this position. On your body, do whatever is needed for you at the time. So basically, we're going to come into this position, and we're going to be working the lateral or outside portion of the leg. So all right in here. And may not be too nice starting off, but you're going to see how tight you are here. And that connects all the way up into the opposite side, right behind the shoulder blade or scapula. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. You're going to place the sphere just a little bit above the ankle here, above the Achilles tendon on the lateral side. So we're going to work 3 points. 1, 2, 3. Okay, if this is too much, I want you to come off of the sphere. You are your gauge here, and so you can do this however much you want to by taking weight off if it's too much, or putting more weight into the sphere. Now, a lot of us are not open in our ankles like this. So we could grab a towel, and I'll show you how to do that. I want you to be breathing here. So you can grab a towel or a pillow or a bolster, whatever feels best to you. And you can come in like this. So if that's more comfortable, feel free. And a lot of you will probably be saying, ouch. I want you to take just maybe 2 more breaths if you can right here. I want you to be engaging your core, so bringing your transverse abdominis in. Inhale. Exhale, sink down. You've probably already had a few breaths here, so let's go ahead and move to the next spot. So the second spot is going to be right here laterally. Okay, sometimes you'll have to hold the spear there because I don't want it quite in the middle. I want it more to the outside. So you may have to just keep placement here. And some of you have never felt this area before, and so it's going to be quite tender. So go ahead and take a few breaths here. Good job. Inhale. Exhale, sink. Go ahead and come off, and let's go to the third point. And I want you to come right here. This is the third point, so we're laterally right here, and it is below the knee. Again, hold the spear in if it feels like it's coming out, but I want you to engage your transverse abdominis. So I want you to slightly pull in towards your spine, just a very slight. And you should be able to breathe through that while holding this contraction. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale, sink. Go ahead and come off. Place the sphere to the side. And I would like for you to go into downward facing dog. A lot of times I'll have you start with downward facing dog, but at this point, I want you just to feel the difference from side to side. So go ahead and you can go ahead and plant your fingers down and go ahead and press the mounds of your hands into the mat. Tuck the toes underneath you and lift up and back. So you're pressing through the mounds of your hands, where you're pressing back, lifting out of your wrists. Go ahead and pull back. So you're pressing through and linking the fingertips, pressing back all the way back to your sacrum and down from the sacrum through the hamstrings all the way through to the heels. Do not force your heels down. Just feel, breathe, and feel. Does one side feel more open than the other? It should be that the side you worked feels more open and the other one feels more tight. Take a breath and breathe it through your body. Go ahead and bring your knees down, and let's go ahead and proceed. Okay, so from here, you're going to work the hamstring in one position, and that's going to be laterally because that bicep fem comes in laterally right in here. Okay, and it crosses across to your ischial tuberosity. So go ahead and bring the ball in to the space in between the back of the knee. Now, we never want to press into the back of the knee, but you're actually not going to be. It just kind of looks like it. You're actually going to be contacting the surface right here and right here, where those 2 points come together, like the soleus and the bicep thumb. So tuck that spear in the little nook behind the knee. Hold that space in with your hand and go ahead and come on back. Again, navel to spine. Make sure you're not doing a lordotic curve like this. And lay back right here. Breathing. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale and really sink and bear some weight down into the sphere. And release. And like I said, this deep longitudinal subsystem connects up into the ischial tuberosity. So we will be working up into the ischial tuberosity and give a little link from the ischial tuberosities out to into the leg. So we're basically going to separate some of that tissue that gets really bunched up around the hamstring. And then we're going to go up the sacrum and to the opposite side erector. Okay, so let's get started. So we're going to go to that ischial tuberosity, which is your sit bone, right at the top of the leg and right underneath the buttock. So you're going to tuck the ball up underneath there. We're going to be on bone. Okay, right here. Forgive my little guy, his arms fell off. So from here, if you can see me, where you're at is you're on the sit bones, right in here. Okay, so this is where we want to be working, and we want to peel the adhesion off of here so we can lengthen the hamstrings. Okay, so we're on the ischial tuberosity, and you can position your leg here, bend the knee down, whatever is best for your body. Okay, so when we're here, we're not just rolling like this because it's a little irritating to the nervous system. We're stimulating bone because that's the magic. So I want you just to take a few breaths here, and we are directly on bone. Inhale, spine as tall if you can. Exhale, and sink down into the sphere. Take a few breaths here. Inhale. Exhale and sink. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale, sink. And what I want you to do is I want you to roll the sphere forward. Your body comes back just a little bit. So you're coming just to the front of that sit bone, facial tuberosity, and we're going to really move and open up this space right here, okay? So a lot of times there's adhesion that gets here and it gets really gummed up and stuck. So we're going to lengthen here. So we're going to do this move and a few more just to lengthen that leg, and then we're going to move up the sacrum. So I want you to not force. If you're tight in the hamstrings here, you can bend the knee. But if you have to straighten a little bit, go ahead and straighten and push through your heel. Again, navel's towards spine. Spine is tall. Inhale. Exhale, sink down. And what I want you to do is I want you to just do a side-to-side movement. So I'm bearing that weight, pressing my weight down, and a slow side to side. So if you can see me here, I'm just rolling very gently side to side, but it's not a superficial, it's actually deep. I'm pressing down, I'm pinning the tissue down, and then I'm rolling side to side very slowly. From here, inhale, exhale, sink. Let's go ahead and take the body back. So we're going to be in like muscle tendon junction here. You can do this up against a wall. You can do it on a chair. There's many options to this. So don't feel like you can't do this type of therapy if you're not doing it the way that I'm doing it. There's many options. Like I could come up against the wall and support my back here, okay? When you get good at this and your core gets a whole lot stronger, then you'll be able to do it in this position. So honor your body and just do what your body needs for this time. Inhale, exhale, and sink and bear that weight down. You might start feeling a little bit of your sacrum letting go, right in here in the low back. You might feel that start to let go. We are going to go ahead and go across the tissue one more time. Inhale, exhale, sink down. And go ahead and pin that tissue down so you're moving down and slowly across. Excellent job. This is a pretty big one. You might feel a bump, bump, bump if it's super tight. Inhale. Exhale, and one more time. Take your body back so you're right in the muscle belly. Really generally of all hamstrings. Sometimes I'll do a class where I actually peel all the hamstrings as well. But this is general to open up the deep longitudinal subsystem. And breathe. One more deep breath. And sink. Go ahead and come off that sphere. Okay, so we're on the deep longitudinal subsystem. We have worked the outside lateral part of the calf, and we've worked bicep fem. Again, that attaches the sacrotuberous ligament, and that helps with force closure of the SI joint. So if the SI joint is not working correctly and doing force closure, then a lot of times we'll have low back pain, we're gonna have hamstring injury. So you really wanna make sure that this area is free from adhesion and everything above and below that sacroiliac joint is moving correctly. So let's go back into downward facing dog because I want you to feel that right side. Sorry, we're on the left side. I want you to feel that side and feel how open it is from all the way from heel up into the sit bone, okay? So go ahead and go up into downward facing dog, pressing through the mounds of your hands, tucking toes, lifting up and back through the heels. Really get those scapulas down. And there's such a difference from the side you worked versus the other side. Really feel that. Like you hardly can even feel that side that you worked, and what I feel is the other side is just really super tight. Okay, so let's now go to the sacrum. We're going to do a little bit of work around the sacrum and then up to the opposite side erector. So we can work that whole side deep longitudinal subsystem. Okay, so let's go to the sacrum on that side. Okay, so we're going to place the sphere. So if we went to here, and now we're starting to come up into this area. Okay, now, if somebody has piriformis syndrome where they're actively have a pinched nerve there, it depends if you want to work here or not, because sometimes if there's a pinched nerve here, the nerve's already irritated. So I would skip the area that I'm going to work and just hang out right here at the top of the sacrum, right around in here and work here. We will get there. But that's only for somebody that's active with piriformis syndrome, or if any of my clients, I've told them not to necessarily put a ball there yet. In NKT, we actually see whether an area is over or underactive. And sometimes if you try to release an area that's basically underactive, then it doesn't always like it. So let's proceed. So we're going to place the air-filled sphere right here. So the area that we were at was right here, and then we're going to be here. So we're going to roll up from the sit bone. So we're going to be on the sit bone. We're going to take an inhale, an exhale, and sink. And we're going to roll and pin that tissue down. We're going to roll up to the side of the sacrum. Okay, so if you can see me here, I'm right on the side of the sacrum. And we're working the left side as you're mirroring me. And you're going to sink, and it probably will be tender here. So we were here at the sit bones. We're rolling up into the area right here with, we have a lot of deep rotators here. And if those get really stuck together, then the hip doesn't rotate well, which also goes into the SI joint, which won't always open up and do force closure. Yes, the SI joint does move, it just doesn't move a whole lot. But there's a lot of fascial covering here. So a lot of times if this is all gummed up, then the glute max won't fire right. and the erector won't fire right. And I'll talk more about posterior oblique subsystem next week, but this all ties in. So you're breathing here, you're really sinking down into the tissue here. You're going to inhale. If you want more, you can actually come see how I'm tilting to the side. I want a little bit more pressure angle, and you do not have to. You can just be coming here. I'm angling in, that's up to you. The purpose here is to sink into the tissue. If you're just staying here for one breath, you'll be affecting tissue, but not as deeply as if we were actually going to really take our time and sink. And then if you do that, then it's apt to stay in that more relaxed state for longer, okay? So you're exhaling here, sinking, and you're gonna move the ball up. Just a little micro movement, and we're again on the side of the sacrum. Move it up just a little bit, and now we're going to be right here to the side of the sacrum, okay? So again, if you want a little bit extra, you can angle in right there. If you don't, you can just hold up here. If your neck's getting sore, and if this is a hard position for you to hold, again, you can come up against a wall, okay? Just know that you have that ability to modify as needed. Or like I have a couch here, you can kind of lean up against the couch while you're doing this to support until you get stronger in the core. Inhale, exhale, and we're going to move up into the lumbars. So if you have spinal fusion, then this is okay because we're staying to the side, okay? Now, when I do a roll that's from the sacrum into the spine, right in the middle of the spine, I will always have you not roll through that area if there's a fusion there. We always do above and below because we're creating space for those vertebrae, because wherever it's fused, it's not going to move, and then the areas above and below get really stuck because they're having to do double time. So always go above and below if you're with me in the future when we do that. All right, inhale, exhale, sink, and move the sphere up. So you're going to be at the junction at the very top of the pelvis, and I'll show you on my little figure here. So you're going to hang out, and you're going to angle into this area, if you can see me here. Angle in, press in. This is where the iliolumbar ligament is. And the iliolumbar ligament actually attaches to the fascia of the sacrotuberous ligament, which again goes all the way down to the bicep fem and all the way down to the bottom of the foot. So the iliolumbar ligament is going to be right here at the top of the pelvis, the iliac crest, right here, okay? Sink into that area. Breathe into that area. Inhale, exhale. We're going to come off of the sphere, and we're going to switch sides because remember how I said in gait, it comes up the whole lateral part of the leg, into the glute and around the sacrum, and then it crosses across. The fascial kind of chain that crosses across to the opposite side erector. So in my model, I will show you if it's coming up the lateral side all the way here to here, then we're going to cross across up into, attach onto the ribs underneath the scapula. Okay, so now we're going to take to the opposite side in the low back, but it's not going to be right on the spine. It's going to be to the side of the spine. Okay, so if you'll see me here, I'm right here, and I'm going to roll up the erector, and my trajectory is going to be towards the right underneath the scapula. Okay, so I'm going to angle out here so you can see me. I'm in the low back or the opposite side. I'm inhaling, I'm exhaling, and I'm sinking, and I'm angling in a bit here. Inhale, exhale, sink, and go ahead and lift up your pelvis push into your feet and take your pelvis towards your feet and roll the ball up. So I'm rolling up to the next spot. I'm going to be here. This is a ab exercise, okay? So again, prop yourself up on a couch or whatever you need to, or come here, stabilize with your elbow here. If your head's getting tired, you can do this. Inhale, exhale, and I want you to angle in a little bit towards the spine because this group of muscles, it's a group of 3 muscles. I call it the back strap, lay term, and those are the 3 muscles. I love spaghetti, we call it in anatomy. Those are our terms for the 3 backstrap muscles. So basically we're peeling those. So you're gonna take an inhale, exhale, sink, and go ahead and press into your feet and move the sphere up. So I love spaghetti is iliocostalis and longissimus and spinalis, just in case you wanted to know. Depends if you're an anatomy nerd like me. Some are and some aren't. All right, inhale. Exhale and sink down into the tissue, angle it in towards the spine. We're not on the spine, we're to the side of the spine. You can hold on to your knees if that helps you, or you can place a pillow or a bolster or something under your head. Inhale, exhale, sink, press into your feet, lift up, and come right to the space to the medial or the middle part of the scapula. And I'm going to show you here. So this is where I want the sphere to be. This is going to be where it attaches, right here. And we're going to angle it in. So that muscle is going to come up. It's going to come up, and it's going to come right underneath the scapula to attach on the ribs, right here. Okay, so you're angling it in right around the shoulder blade. You're clasping your hands to support your head, and you're angling it in here. So my knees will drop a little bit to the same side as I press my back into the sphere and angle it right in towards the scapula. And take a few breaths. Inhale, exhale, sink. Inhale, exhale, sink. Take one more breath. Deep breath and sink into that area. Go ahead and roll off that sphere and come into downward facing dog because I want you to feel that stretch all the way from the ankles up to the scapula here. Lots of downward facing dogs today. Okay, so let's go ahead and push through those mounds of the hands, lift out of the wrist, press up and back to the scapula, sliding the scapulas down the back, and you're lifting all the way to the sacrum stretching all the way down to the heel. Take a few breaths and hold. Make sure you're not wearing your shoulders like earrings here. Make sure your shoulders and your scapulas are down. You want to create space here. Breathe. And go ahead and bend those knees. Come to a seated position. So this is also a line of energy in yoga. So I'm kind of crossing yoga with energy work, with ball rolling, with anatomy. That's my deal. So basically, that's a whole deep longitudinal subsystem on that one side. Now we're going to activate it because in my opinion, we do want to release things, but after we release it, we should activate it to wake it up. So it feels good to lengthen everything, get adhesion out, and free that area. But then I like to do an activation with that. So let's go ahead. And this is a really easy functional exercise. And it's going to be one arm up, one leg up, opposite leg up, So obviously we're activating that deep longitudinal subsystem. I want to make sure that your leg that's up is not going to be tilting your sacrum. I want you to try to keep your pelvis level. So I'll come to the side. So first, go ahead and come onto the hands and the knees and lift up through that leg. And if you have to, I want you to internally rotate the hip if you're like this and you're tilted up with your sacrum, okay? But if you're level, that's fine. So you're going to stretch your heel through, and then you're going to bring the opposite arm up. I don't care if you can balance there for one breath. Just do your best here, okay? So from here, you're going to come up with one leg and the opposite arm and hold, if you can, for 3 breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And release. Okay? Take a breath. I want you to do that one more time with me. Okay? And again, I don't care if you can only hold for even like 1 or 2 seconds. And if this is too much, then only do the leg. And then you can only do the arm. So you can split it up if it's too hard to balance, and then work towards a goal. Personally, I think this is a good time to do that, to really challenge ourselves. So let's go ahead. So lift that leg up, and if you're only comfortable here, that's fine, but I want you to bring your navel towards your spine, so you're not dragging in here. Okay, bring the navel towards the spine. Reach that heel out. And if you want to, come with me, but I want to make sure that navel's towards the spine so you're really stabilizing here, and bring your opposite hand up as you stretch the fingertips away from the heel. And breathe. And release. Okay, I want you to walk around for just a minute because I want you just to feel how your body feels. You'll feel a little lopsided. But again, that deep longitudinal subsystem is about gait. So we walk a lot in our day. So that's a repetitive movement that if that whole deep longitudinal subsystem is not working correctly, then there's going to be places that are either going to have pain or have tightness or adhesions. You're more apt to injury here. So this is injury prevention as well as pain reduction, and myofascial release. We're blending it with a little bit of functional fitness. Okay, so as you walked around, I want you just to observe, see what's going on in your body. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and start with the other side. So take a drink of water if you need to, because that was definitely a deep tissue massage. Okay, we're going to go ahead and go to the other side. So switch sides. We're working our 3 points. We're going to start here, laterally, or on the outside. 1, 2, and 3. Now, if I was doing an advanced class, I would be warming up with this, and then would be peeling the layers with this one. So that will be coming in advanced classes, and so you may want to think about purchasing a kit to have those extra tools to work with, or to work with yourself on a more deeper level at home. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. So we're going laterally above the ankle, and we're going to be right here. Sometimes you'll have to hold the sphere. If it's hard to sit on your knees, again, you can come to this position and just do it in this way. You can, do it however is best for your body. Inhale, exhale, hold with your hand, and come back to sit onto the sphere. Place that towel, that rolled up towel, under your ankles if this hurts your ankles or you don't have the flexibility. Breathe. Okay, this would be an example, or a bolster or a pillow. Which side is tighter? For For me, it would be my left-hand side. And that's where I have SI joint problems. And my SI joint always gets stuck. I'm always having to have it adjusted. So that's an area that I really need to work with, both in the deep longitudinal subsystem and the posterior oblique subsystem. And you're breathing, and you're exhaling, and you're sinking. Release that sphere. And go ahead and move to the second point, which is right here. Okay, so I want you to take a deep breath. Second point, exhaling down, sinking. You have the power to come off of this. So if you need to do this, you can. If you want to come more, you can. But I want you to honor your body and utilize your breath. Very, very good thing to live by right now. Navel's in towards the spine. Spine is tall. Inhale, exhale, and sink. You can feel yourself kind of starting to sink through the tissue. You'll feel your tissue start spreading out. And sometimes this is just really, really sore for people, and you're not going to be able to stay long. And that's okay. It takes time. So just be patient with yourself. And even if you do a couple breaths, it's going to help. Let's do one more breath here. Inhale, exhale, and sink down. And go ahead and release off that sphere. Let's go to the third point. The third point is going to be right here, again, laterally or to the outside. Place that sphere in, hold it with your hand, and go ahead and lean back. Okay, utilize your breath, and this is probably going to be pretty tender. I find this is very sticky on a lot of my clients. It's going to lock up the tib-fib joint. And if the tib-fib joint is locked up, more times than not, then the SI joint or the ankle can be locked up because it's on both sides. Hold that ball into place if need be. Breath in and out. And more than likely, the side that's tightest is probably going to have some glute issues, hamstring issues, low back issues. Very possible. Let's take one more breath here. Inhale. Exhale and sink. And release. The next point is going to be where the bicep fem comes in to attach here. So the bicep fem comes from ischial tuberosity and crosses across the outside lateral part of the leg. So we're going to bring the sphere into the crook of the back of the knee. Now we're never pressing straight into the back of the knee. This just is placed there, but it's not pressing on that area. It's actually pressing on the calf and the hamstring. Okay, so you are getting it into that nook. You're holding it into place a little more laterally again. And go ahead and sit back. And some of you, this will be super tender. And so I want you to do your best to do 3 breaths here. Navels to spine, you're dropping your sacrum, because sometimes we're holding tension here if it hurts here. Come off a little bit if it's too much. Relax here in your low back and your sacrum. Pull your navel in towards your spine. Inhale. Exhale and sink down to a comfortable place. You should be able on the inhale to create and expand that area. And if you can't, then you probably should back out just a little bit. Inhale. Exhale and sink. Come off of that sphere. Now, we're going to go to the ischial tuberosity and we're going to work that. So, as you know, the ischial tuberosity is going to be right at the bottom of the pelvis. We are stimulating bone. We're trying to set off release of the muscle of the hamstring itself. Okay, the great thing is working the bone in the midline here. You're going to set off all the fascial attachments basically. So you're going to start releasing below and above. Okay, so let's go to ischial tuberosity. Right here underneath where the buttock is, I'm going to put my leg out straight, right on this ischial tuberosity. Your leg can be here, your knee can be bent, foot back, whatever feels best. Again, put your back up against a wall or couch if needed. Breath in and out. sink down into the bone. This is where the magic happens. Inhale, exhale, sink. We're looking for a deep tissue release and bone stimulation here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to really sink into this tissue and pin it down to be able to set off release of the tissue. We just don't do as much good if we're superficial. And if we're just rolling through really fast, you do affect change, but not as much as this. So foam rollers are good, but I love the spheres because they are so specific and you're taking your time and you're really utilizing the power of the fascia. Number one, the power of the bone, and then number two, the power of the fascia to release. You get longer lasting relief. Inhale, exhale, sink. Take your body back just a little bit so the sphere comes forward. Inhale, exhale. Sink into this area and pin it down. You're going to take your fingertips to the ground. I'm going to angle just a little bit so you can see me. And I'm going to exhale into that sphere, drop down, and then go ahead and, I call it a micro movement from side to side, but it's not superficial. You're pressing down first to then pin that tissue down to utilize and move side to side. Excellent job. Ooh, this feels good. Sometimes we have adhesion here because we pull the hamstring here, okay? So from here, you're going to inhale, exhale, sink down, and go ahead and roll forward into the muscle belly. Inhale, exhale, and sink. Sinking with each exhale, inhale, and find that space. Take your breath there, find that space. Pin that tissue down, press down, and go ahead and rotate. You can even rotate the leg. I like to take my hands and just really peel those hamstrings off of one another. They get really stuck together. So peel. And I'm pushing down while I'm doing this. I'm not just doing this because it's really not doing as much. I'm pushing down and I'm peeling. And go ahead and release. Come into downward facing dog. You may or may not like this, but it's a really good check-in for your body. Okay, let's go and go ahead and press through the hands, lifting up and back. It's a good way for you to learn downward facing dog and perfect your form. Slide the scapulas down the back so you do not wear them as earrings. Your neck should not be sore after doing this. Slide scapulas down the back, down toward your pants pockets. Then you open and lengthen through your spine to your sacrum. And press down through the heels. If you can't get there, bend the knees, no problem. Don't force yourself. Breathe. And release. So if one side was tight down into the calf and Achilles tendon, this should feel a whole lot better. So let's go ahead and go through the sacrum. So now we want to take the sphere from the ischial tuberosity up into the area right here, the deep rotators. So we're right next to the sacrum. The sacrum is this little bone, little area right in here. Okay, so hopefully we can make it through the rest of this. Looks like I'm losing power a little bit. Okay, so please bear with me. Okay, so from here, we're gonna take it up and cross over to the opposite side erector. Okay, and then we're gonna activate. So let's go to ischial tuberosity, sit bone. Inhale, exhale and sink down. Press down into that sit bone and go ahead and lift the sphere up and over to the side of the sacrum. Perfect. Angle in, so you're going to drop your knees in just a little bit here. So you're angling it in towards the sacrum. We're really going to work that fascia. So I'm angling it in and then I'm going to peel it out. So inhale, exhale, sink, and then peel that out. So you're now going to go ahead and roll the sphere out towards the hip just a little bit to create some space. Excellent. And go ahead and go up to the side. We're going to move up just a little bit, up towards the side of the sacrum. Moving up slightly here. Inhale, exhale, sink. Go ahead and angle in so your knees drop towards that side. Inhale, exhale, sink. And go ahead and create some space. So move the sphere out a little bit towards the hip. So you've just created a little bit of space for that SI joint if it's all got a bunch of adhesion and locked up here. And go ahead and come back. We're going to move to the top of the top of the iliac crest. This is where the iliolumbar ligament is. So that has fascial attachment to the sacrotuberous and to the bicep fem. So we're going to be right at the top of the iliac crest, right here to the side of the lumbars. Deep breath in here. Inhale. Exhale and sink. And take another breath for me. Inhale. Exhale and sink. Come up and take the sphere off, and we're going to now switch to the opposite side erector. Again, with gait, this crosses across. So we're working a fascial line. So you're going to come to the opposite side, right here, so you're still in low back area, but you're going to switch sides right in here. Opposite side, low back. You're going to be, we were here. We're going to switch sides and we're going to be right up here. So we're actually working right around the QL, but our intention is more into the erectors, into the backstrap muscles. So angle it in towards the spine. You're going to drop in, your knees will bend towards that side, and you're angling in towards the spine. You're not necessarily right on the spine, you're to the side angling in. Breathe in. Expand and create that space. Exhale and sink and angle in. Bring your knees back up. Inhale. Exhale. Sink down and move up to the next point. So again, still the side. You can go ahead and help your head if it's getting sore and hold it up. And go ahead and place your elbow down, arm down, however's feeling best. You can also come onto the ground if this is too much for you. Inhale, exhale and sink, and angle in towards the spine, sinking down. Inhale, exhale and sink. Bring the knees back up. Inhale, exhale, sink, and you're going to come to the last spot, which is going to be right inside the scapula or the shoulder blade. So come on up and angle in towards the scapula. Hold that. And I'm going to show you on my little skeleton, my little mini skeleton I have today. So you're coming up and you're angling it now in this way towards the scapula. So this way, because it's attaching, the erectors are attaching onto the ribs right underneath here. Okay? So angle in, relax your neck into your hands, and angle in towards your scapula here. Breathe. Inhale. Exhale, sink. Give me one more breath. And when you're ready, go ahead and come off the sphere. Let's activate that side deep longitudinal subsystem. So I'm going to do the full expression. If it's hard for you to balance, then you can just do one leg up or one arm up or do them separately. I'm going to go into the full expression. So from here, and again, you want to make sure that you're not, you know, when you come up, you're not twisting into your pelvis. You want your pelvis level. Sometimes if it's hard for me to get that level, I'll drop the pelvis and then internally rotate the leg or the hip just a little bit. Okay, but first things first, go ahead and engage this transverse abdominis. So pull navel into towards spine just a little bit here. Okay, reach out through the heel. You will be able to balance better if you actually engage your transverse abdominis. And then opposite arm comes up and breathe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and drop. Take a breath. And let's do this one more time. So if you did leg before, now do arm if you're not comfortable balancing. Otherwise, come with me. Bring the leg up and opposite arm up. Really be tall in your spine, so you're going to lengthen away your sacrum to the top of the head. Navel towards spine, just slightly transverse abdominis action, activation, and release. One more time, let's come up into downward facing dog. So I want you to feel that overall whole body stretch, feeling how good it feels from your shoulders all the way down to the bottoms of your heels. Okay, let's go ahead and press through the hands, lengthen back, shoulders are down, scapulas and shoulder blades are down towards the back. And you should feel like you've got a line of energy moving, fingertips all the way through the toes and the heels. Inhale. Exhale. Really feel that line of energy from the fingertips all the way through your spine to your sacrum and from your pelvis down into your heels. And go ahead and come down. Now, I'm going to give you a little bonus. This one's pretty fun. And this is really good to peel the Achilles and the gastrocs because they get really sticky. So you're going to utilize T-sphere sport balls, and you can use any ball, but I love these, number one, because they have aromatherapy. These are mint. And the grip of them is amazing and what you can do with them. And I like it because they actually have give, but they're not as soft as a tennis ball. So sometimes I utilize them like this. Sometimes I have them still in their bag, or you can place them like this too. So I'm going to go ahead and place them right in between the gastroc where the head splits here, and I'm going to lean back. So I would warm up with the air filled, and then I would come back. I'd sink, I'd hang out, and then I'd do a gentle back and forth motion to peel those gastrocs. So you're actually getting the hamstrings here too. So if you can see me, I won't come down as far, but I'm basically doing a slow roll. So it's the same technique that I use with the sphere, the air-filled sphere, but we're getting more depth now. So I'm maintaining pressure down just like I do with the air-filled sphere, and then I'm doing a little cross fiber. It's a very small movement, and I'm coming off. So that's a little bit of an advanced technique, but I sure love these T-sphere sport balls because the low back, the hips, the legs, I love using this in the size. And then the T-sphere 45 millimeter golf ball size, I do a lot of upper body with, anything from shoulders to hands to feet to neck and jaw. Know that we did deep longitudinal subsystem, and now I'm going to do a little meditation just to run through that line of energy on both sides that we opened up. It's kind of a completion of our work and integration of the work, where we were physical body, and then we can then go to integrating it into our more emotional body. So let's go ahead and go into meditation. Go ahead and lie onto your back. And I want you to really feel, how your back is contacting the ground. Let your back, your sacrum fall into the ground here. Taking a couple of deep breaths, really feeling the back part of your spine and your sacrum. Breathing into these areas on that whole back line. Close your eyes, be comfortable, and bring your attention now to your feet and your toes. Feel them relax. Moving up now, feeling the light in your feet. We're generating a lot of light and a lot of energy. So if you bring whatever light that you want to, but I like to bring white light into this area and fill my feet up with it. So when we fill that light up, we're moving that light from our feet all the way up into our calves, where we just open the energy. We opened a bunch of acupressure meridians, or at least the back line. We're getting energy to flow and getting circulation to flow. So really open that up and bring that light there. So breathe into that light and let it spread up your legs. Now coming to the back side of your legs. Letting that light spread as you breathe, and breathe that light up the back of the legs, all the way now into the sacrum. Really feel that sacrum breathing while you breathe. Opening that sacrum and letting it just drop and melt into the ground. Breathing light and energy into your whole pelvis, mostly the back of your pelvis, and just filling those SI joints open, the whole pelvis. Fill up with light here. Relax that low back and bring light into that area. Breathe light into your whole spine, from the lumbar to the mid-back, and the thoracic, and all the way up into the neck and the cervicals. Breathe that light up your spine. Let all your muscles relax surrounding your spine. Release your whole body into the earth. Allow your breath to flow as naturally as the wind blows, letting the energy and the light spread throughout your body, finding any areas that are still tense to breathe into and fill up with light. You are a light being. Enter your mind as if you're entering a small grove of trees in the mountains. Let go of grounding right now. Any thoughts? Let the wind flow through your body. With your breath, hear the stream flowing. Really feel the air moving through the trees. Hear the wind blowing through the trees. Relax into the earth. Relax into the calmness and protection of the earth. Feeling the breeze on your face. Look deeply into that quiet place in you. Feel good about you. Focus now on your breath. Notice how deep and full each breath is. Take slow, deep, long breaths and observe the silence. Observe your breath. Observe your own true being, which resides quietly within. Taking 3 more deep breaths. You can go ahead and stay in this position if you would like for a little bit longer. Have a good day. Karina with Sphere Therapeutics.